Hi, I'm Kevin from Goin Batty, and this is Heather, my beautiful bride. We're gonna go through a recipe that this family absolutely loves. We eat it all the time. We're gonna get a little help from Mr. Jack back there, but we're gonna make twice baked potatoes. So take a look at this. We're gonna go through the ingredients. Here you go.
Sausage in mine, and we got this from Costco, and I'm gonna use like maybe a fourth of it, and I'll brown this up. And then what else we use is we have garlic and onions, and we either use fresh broccoli, but I have frozen because we don't have any fresh right now. And then you have cheese, your butter, and your milk to make
massive block of cheese. Look at that cheese.
To make it, we won't use all of that. We'll use like maybe about that much of it, and then I'll show you how to put it together. And we are using just a pound of sausage here. To put into our baked potatoes. We find that sausage, it stretches more than like maybe bacon does. Brown this up, and then depending on how lean the sausage is, we'll drain the grease off of it. But if there's not a whole lot, I'll just actually throw the onions and garlic in with it if there's not a lot of grease, and cook it together so that the sausage gets the flavor of it. So we're just gonna let that brown up right now.
Jack, how are those eyes holding up, buddy?
Not good.
So we're chopping up onions. We have two kind of small ones, but usually I only use like one onion in it. And then we're putting some garlic in it too. So I gotta get the...
What are you doing to the garlic right there?
I'm smashing it so you can get the skins off of it.
Wow.
And these are like ginormo cloves of garlic here. So
where did you learn how to smash garlic like that?
No, my mama taught me.
Mom taught you?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Very cool. All right, what are we doing here?
I'm crushing the garlic, and he's still chopping up the onions. Okay, so our sausage, if you look at it, it doesn't have a whole lot of grease in it. It's, you know, so I don't really have to drain it. But I'm going to take our 3 to 4 cloves of garlic, don't have them here, and our onion here, and I'm just going to go ahead and dump it in here. And
let me ask you a safety question.
Yeah.
Do you ever cut your meat on the same thing you cut your onions on?
No, you don't.
Why?
Well, because you can contaminate your food. So especially if like you're if you're not cooking something, like if you're cutting up tomatoes for a hamburger, you don't ever want to cut meat on the same cutting board. I always try to cut any meat that I do on a separate cutting board. So we have the yellow cutting board for vegetables, and we had the blue cutting board for the meat. And I usually separate them so I don't make anyone sick, because no one wants to be sick.
What do you do with the broccoli, babe?
This is going in our potato mix. I chop it up kind of fine, just because it goes further. It stretches further for all 7 of us. So that way, when we make them, we don't pile all the stuff on top of the potato. We actually mix it in with the potato. And when you do that, your sausage, your broccoli, your cheese, all of that just kind of stretches further, and you don't have to use as much of it. But it still tastes as good. All right, so I'm putting the broccoli in with the garlic and onion and sausage, and just kind of warming it up. I don't want to overcook it because, you know, you don't want like super mushy broccoli. But just so warm it all up.
It looks fantastic.
Yes.
Look at the color in there. I mean, the greens and the sausage. Oh, the sausage.
Okay. Here. You can't eat it yet. It's not done.
You'll get worms.
Was Robbie's mom. You'll get worms. Okay, so we're just going to let that kind of simmer. I have it on... I brown things on about a medium heat, and I turned it down to about 4 so I don't burn anything. But with the broccoli being a little frozen, I don't think I have, you know, there's any chance of that happening. So we're just going to let that go until it's warm through. Maybe about 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how your stove cooks. So, here. Okay, I'm cutting off. This is a 2-pound block of cheese.
Where did you get it from?
I got it from Costco. we found that we do a lot of our grocery shopping at Aldi. A lot of our bulk stuff we get from Costco. My mother and I, we share a membership there. But it's actually less expensive than the little 8-ounce box that you get. So this is probably like maybe a third or a fourth of this. So it's not a whole lot. I mean, if you think about it, if I'm feeding 7 people, that's not like a ton of cheese to put on something. But I'll show you how we do that here in a minute. We're gonna grate this cheese up.
What kind of grade are you going to give it, an A or a B?
All right, so our sausage and onion and broccoli mixture is done. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off and kind of push it back to the back here. And then our potatoes are done. You can tell like when you push on them, there's a give to them. And when they're not done, they're still kind of hard, but you can see I'm squeezing them and they're kind of squishing up. It's hot. Be careful, don't touch that. But all right, so hold it in your hand, hold the potato and a towel in your hand because these suckers are hot. You don't want to burn yourself. And I burned myself before.
We're not using any camera tricks. She is left-handed doing this, folks.
Yes.
She's not one of those weird right-handed people. She's a left-handed people.
Okay, and so what we do is we will cut them in half like this. And then, let me get the spoon, sorry. I get a big, like tablespoon size spoon, and I just scoop out the insides of it.
Yep. Getting all the guts out of there.
Yeah, and I leave a pretty, like not a lot, but a bit of an edge to it because that way your potato doesn't fall apart when you stuff all the stuff back in it. So,
So you've got your once baked potato. Now you're going to have your twice baked potato, but you got to get the guts out of it first. Keeping in mind, when I was a kid, the only thing we scratched a potato out of was a box. So this is real home cooking right here.
Aren't you glad you married me?
Yes, ma'am. Of course I am. Getting ready to show you the next level.
All right, so we have the potatoes all scooped out in here. I've got all the potato skins lined up on a pan. I like to put them kind of tight together so that way when I'm putting the stuff back in them, none of it really falls out. All of it kind of stays on top of the potatoes. So in this, I'm going to use a stick of butter.
Yay! Yay!
A whole stick of butter.
We love butter, don't we?
We do. We love butter. So, and I'll just kind of cut it up into chunks so it melts easier.
So let's talk about knife safety because you seem to be like the queen with the knife.
You actually really should not do what I just did. But, that's really skill.
But you got skill.
I got skill. So we're going to take this, and you can mash it with a potato masher, that's fine, but I have a lovely KitchenAid mixer.
Yay!
And so we're going to do it with that because it just makes life a lot easier.
Now, is there an ingredient in this that we are missing, or is there anything you could add as an alternative?
You could add anything you want. Like if you have chives or like green onions and you wanted to put that in there, you could.
Sour cream?
Sour cream. We're not using sour cream. We're going to use milk. And just, you know, maybe start out with about 1/4 of a cup maybe.
Are you just making mashed potatoes?
It's kind of like just making mashed potatoes, and we're going to like whip them up real good.
I'm getting dizzy.
So.
I feel dizzy.
And then, so they look like that. I mean, they're still thick. It's like, hand out there.
I'm sure there are some channels that, you know, you could go and watch where you're going to see a bunch of heart-healthy stuff. This just isn't that meal, folks. We love all the things that are bad for you. Sausage, butter, sour cream, cheese. And, you know, the vegetables are great, but we really throw them in for more color. So what's going on here?
That's not true.
Oh, sorry.
I'm putting the sausage, and like I said, there was like 0 grease in this, hardly. So I didn't have to drain anything out. I'm putting the onions and sausage and garlic and broccoli into this, and this I'm going to stir by hand and just kind of fold it in. And see, like I said, we don't put all our stuff on the top because you have to make more when you put it on the top. This is about 1 pound of sausage, so putting it inside of it actually makes it stretch further. And then we're going to put the cheese in it.
Yay! Cheese, glorious cheese. I'll tell you what, folks. That is the makings of something beautiful.
And again, putting the cheese in it instead of on top of it, I may not even use all of this. So
that's horrible. Why wouldn't you use all the cheese? That's a terrible thing to say.
Because we may not need all the cheese, sweetie.
We always need cheese. All right. Well, anyway, this. How long do you cook it once you put it into the oven?
I set the oven, like right now I had it for baking the potatoes. I bake mine at 425. I'm going to turn the temperature down because everything's already cooked in it. And I'm going to turn it down to about 350. And then that way all you really want to do is kind of warm it back up a little bit and make sure everything's kind of melted. And the other thing that sometimes I do is I sometimes turn the broiler on to get it kind of crusty and crunchy on the top for just like a few minutes.
Oh, that's good.
And that's really good. So
that's very good.
All right, so I've got all the cheese mixed in here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some salt and pepper in it. We just have, I can't tell you how much pepper, we just kind of grind it in there.
Flavor to taste, right?
Yeah, flavor to taste. With the salt, I just always taste it before you do it because the sausage has some salt in it. You can always put more salt in, you can't take it out. So, like, I just put like a little bit in there right now. So, and then I'm gonna mix it up real good. And so it's all cheesy and broccoli and sauce. Then we like Tabasco sauce in ours, so we'll put a few shakes of Tabasco in it. If you don't like it, don't do it. But that's just, my family loves Tabasco, so they put it on everything. All right, and now we are gonna take a big old spoon, and we're just gonna spoon this into the potato skins.
Wow.
Just like that.
And you know who else is here? It's the scavenger.
It's the pooch. She's waiting for me to drop something.
Yeah, she only comes out when we're trying to cook something.
Hi, Gina.
Ow,
Get out of there.
Ow.
You're gonna burn yourself.
Just putting it back into the potato. Look at that. Amazing. Gina, sit. Good dog.
And I'm gonna just put Nemo's potato back in there, keep it warm.
Her lone potato.
Her lone potatoes. All right, so the potatoes I think are done. We can smell them. Don't they smell lovely?
Oh, they smell lovely. Just like you, dear.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna turn the broiler on just for a few minutes. So they're sitting kind of low, so I'm gonna turn it on high. And we'll just let that go for about 3 to 5 minutes. Don't walk away from it because I have almost caught something on fire one time because I got distracted by the kids and walked away from something that was broiling in the oven and burned it to crisp.
Okay.
So don't walk away.
Fire safety rule number 1.
Yes. Alright, so they look done. Oh, they smell so good. See how they're like nice and crispy and brown on the top? Oh, yummy, yummy. Okay, gotta be careful not to catch my scarf on fire. So, but that's them. And they're awesome and they're great and you know, my family loves them, so.
Enjoy yourself and thanks for watching. Subscribe if you would. We're gonna have more cooking videos and we really appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Enjoy.